I welcome you all to this lesson. We will be learning about double blood circuit. Double blood circuit. Uh, Before we get to the double blood circuit, uh, I hope you all know that we are made up of cells. So cells are the basic functional units in us, in all living organisms. All functions are carried out in your body by the cells. For carrying out cellular functions, for carrying out cellular processes, cells do need energy. So nutrients like glucose need to be transported to the cells. Again, oxygen needs to be transported to the cells so that they release energy from glucose by a process. That process is referred as cellular respiration. Now, so for carrying out these processes, transporting glucose to the cells, transporting oxygen to the cells around your body, you need to have a transport system. The wastes which are generated in cells, cells won't like to build up those wastes. They won't let that waste to accumulate. So, because that will result in their death. So that has to be transported to the structures, to the organs, to the organ systems, from where it will be removed from your body. Like urea, it has to be transported to your kidneys so that you get rid of it. Same, uh, carbon dioxide, which is formed as a waste in this respiration process only, it needs to be transported to your lungs so that you breathe it out and you get rid of it. So you need to have a transport system. The hormones which are secreted by different endocrine glands present around your body. You have endocrine glands in your neck region, they secrete hormones. You have hormones secreted by the thyroid gland present in your neck region. You have adrenal glands present on the top of your kidneys. Your gonads, they also secrete hormones. You have pituitary gland, you have hypothalamus. Okay, all these glands. You have parathyroids. So all these glands, they secrete hormones. These hormones need to be transported to the targets which are present around your body, and they need to act on them. So again, your there has to be a transport system. So you have to have a transport system for carrying out all these functions. Uh, is there just one type of transport system that we find in vertebrates? No. We find two different systems, transport systems in vertebrates. One system that we shall be discussing today, which I introduced to you in the beginning, that is double blood circuit, or we also call it double circulatory system. Circulatory system. Okay, we find this double blood circuit or double circulatory system. We find it in mammals. We find it in aves. You commonly call them birds. You find this in crocodiles. Okay, we are mammals, so we belong to this class. Okay, to the mammals class, Mammalia. So all these organisms have a double blood circuit or double circulatory system. Let's check out how does it work and how it is designed. Look at this diagram. You can see the heart at the center. So these organisms which have a double blood circuit, they do have a four-chambered heart. You can see two different parts in this heart, the right part and the left part. Okay, so this is the right part, the blue one. Okay, and this is the left part. Okay, so this right part of your heart, if you see, it's actually meant for uh, the blood which has got very little oxygen, and we call that deoxygenated. So the blood that has got very little oxygen, that is deoxygenated blood. And this left half of your heart, it's meant for the blood which is very rich in oxygen, which contains a lot of oxygen. So we call it this blood oxygenated blood. So in the vessels around your body, two types of blood circulate. One is which contains very little oxygen, the other which contains a lot of oxygen. That is deoxygenated and oxygenated simultaneously. Now, if you see the structure of your heart has got on the right, you have two chambers, okay, uh, and on the left, again there are two chambers, one at the top, other at the bottom, one at the top, other at the bottom, okay, on both sides. If you see over here, this chamber is the right atrium, okay, RA. So let me write here. RA actually stands for R is right and A is atrium. Plural is atria, or atrium is also referred as auricle. So right auricle, or you can read it as right atrium. Then you have RV. Okay, RV stands for right ventricle. Same you have on the right, sorry, left atrium and left ventricle. So let me erase this, we don't need this. Okay, if you see the oxygen transported to your cells around your body, okay, it's your circulatory system which transports it to your body. Your transport system is also referred as circulatory system, circulatory, circulatory system. It transports nutrients, it transports oxygen, okay, around your body to your cells. Now, when cells take up this oxygen from blood, the oxygen diffuses through capillaries, it diffuses into your cells. Now, this blood gets deficient in oxygen now. It has got very little oxygen when oxygen is picked up by the cells, is taken up by the cells. So it comes back to the heart. Okay, it comes back to the heart, and those blood vessels which bring blood to heart. We have two types of blood vessels. One which bring blood to heart, and the other which take blood away from heart. Those blood vessels which bring blood to the heart, we call them veins. So veins will be bringing this blood to your heart, to the right part of your heart. This blood which is deoxygenated, which contains very little oxygen. And if you see or hear, if you reflect on here, let me use a different pen. From the lower parts of your body, from the inferior part of your body, it is these veins which bring blood. Okay, this brings blood to your heart, and it brings blood to right atrium, and we call it inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. It's written on here. Inferior vena cava. There is another vein which brings blood to right atrium from the superior part of your body. Okay, your head, your neck region, your body trunk. Okay, this is the superior vena cava which brings blood to your right atrium. So these are the veins which bring deoxygenated blood, or the blood that contains very little oxygen, to the right atrium. From right atrium, it goes into the right ventricle. Now, I told you that veins bring blood to heart, okay, and arteries take blood away from heart, okay. Now, this blood contains very little oxygen, so it should pick up oxygen somewhere so that it becomes uh, rich in oxygen. It has a lot of oxygen. What happens to it? This blood is transported to your lungs. You see here, it's transported through these arteries. Okay, pulmonary artery. Through this artery, it is transported to your lungs. Okay, there in the lungs, it picks up oxygen. That's called oxygenation. It picks up oxygen. It gets rich in oxygen. Once it picks up oxygen from there, but do remember here one point. Veins, I told you, they bring blood to heart, and they contain usually deoxygenated blood, which contains very little oxygen. Arteries take blood away from heart, and usually arteries contain oxygenated blood. But do remember here, pulmonary artery is the only artery which contains deoxygenated blood, which contains blood which is very little oxygen, and it takes it to the lungs for oxygenation. Now, once it picks up oxygen from the lungs, it's brought back to the heart. It doesn't go to your body from there only. No, it's brought back to the heart. Now, it's not brought to the right part of your heart. It comes to the left half of your heart. It comes to left auricle. And what brings it to the left auricle? So veins bring blood to heart. Okay, it's pulmonary vein. So do remember that pulmonary vein is the only vein which contains, okay, oxygenated blood. All other veins, whether it is inferior vena cava, whether it is superior vena cava, or whether it is coronary vein, by the way, so they all contain deoxygenated blood. Now, blood comes, oxygenated blood comes to the left auricle. Then it is pushed down into the left ventricle, and left ventricle pumps it to the whole of the body, to the entire system. Okay, from here it goes to the whole of the body. Here it goes to the whole of the body. It is circulated to the whole of the body. So it takes oxygen around your body to each and every cell. Now, what we get from this, what we conclude from this, number one, blood comes to the heart once or twice. Once it comes to the right part of your heart when it is deficient in oxygen, when it has very little oxygen, okay? Then it picks up oxygen from the lungs. It comes back to your heart. Okay, it comes back to your heart. Now it comes to the left half of your heart. So that's why we call it double circuit. So in one complete circuit, in one complete cycle, blood comes to your heart twice. That's why we call it double blood circuit. First, I repeat, deoxygenated blood comes to your heart, okay, to the right half of your heart. Then oxygenated blood comes to your heart, to the right, to the left half of your heart, to your left atrium. Uh, it comes from the lungs, okay, oxygenated blood. So it comes to your heart twice, okay. If it will go from there only, the pressure will be very low. So to keep up the pressure of the blood in the vessels, it has to come to the left auricle and the left ventricle, which has got very strong muscles. It pumps it into the arteries, and uh, we also call it aorta. Then it branches off into different branches and takes this oxygenated blood around your body to each and every cell. Second, second takeaway, second conclusion that we can draw is that let me erase this first so that we don't get confused. There is a lot written out here. Okay, yes. So second, you just check out blood from your heart. Okay, it goes to your lungs through pulmonary vein, through pulmonary arteries. It comes back to your heart. Okay, through pulmonary vein, through pulmonary veins. So blood going to lungs for oxygenation, and after oxygenation coming back. Okay, let me write it here. Blood goes to lungs for oxygenation. From where does it go? It goes from right ventricle, okay, to lungs. Then from lungs through, it goes through pulmonary artery, okay. Let me write PA, pulmonary artery. Then from lungs it comes back, lungs, it comes back. It doesn't come back to right ventricle. Now it comes back to left atrium. And when it comes back to left atrium, it comes back through pulmonary vein. Let me write PV, pulmonary vein. So this part of the circuit is what we call pulmonary circuit. We call it pulmonary circuit. This is pulmonary circuit, or we call it pulmonary circulation. Okay. Next, so blood going to your lungs for oxygenation and coming back to heart, going from your heart to lungs for oxygenation and coming back to heart after oxygenation. This is pulmonary circulation or pulmonary circuit. Second, the blood goes to your system, to the whole of your body. Oxygenated blood goes, okay, and it goes from left ventricle. Here is the left ventricle. It pumps blood into the aorta, systemic aorta, and it circulates it around your body. So it goes to the whole system, to the whole of your body. from left ventricle to the whole system. Then, and it goes through systemic aorta, through arteries later. From system, it comes back to, okay, the system uses the oxygen. Now it is deficient in oxygen. It comes back to heart, but it comes now to the left auricle. Sorry, it comes to right atrium or right auricle. Okay, when it comes back to right atrium or right auricle, okay, it is brought back by the veins, the inferior vena cava, the superior vena cava. Okay, they bring it back. So this is another half of the circuit. Blood going from your heart, from the left part of your heart, that's left ventricle, to the system, okay, transporting oxygen to your system, okay, and from system it comes back to your to the right half of your heart, especially to the right atrium, okay. This is called systemic circuit. Do remember this. We call it systemic circuit. So there are two circuits, pulmonary circuit and systemic circuit. You can find this. So blood going to the lungs and coming back to heart. This is your pulmonary circuit. Okay. Oxygenated blood going to your body and coming back to the heart, or going to your body, to the superior part of your body and coming back to heart. Okay. This is systemic circuit. So there is pulmonary circuit and there is systemic circuit. So that's why we call it double circulatory system. So there are two circulatory systems. So this double circulatory system actually consists of two circuits. Actually consists of two circulatory systems, that's pulmonary circuit and systemic circuit. In pulmonary circuit, the blood goes to your lungs from your heart and comes back to the heart. In systemic circuit, the blood goes to the entire system, your whole body, and comes back to heart. So that is systemic circuit. So these are the two circuits which comprise your double blood circuit, which make your double blood circuit or double blood circulatory system. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comments.